You know, for the last couple of years, AI has been the biggest buzzword in tech. But now, the hype is finally starting to settle down and something way more interesting is happening. AI is becoming a practical, everyday tool that's actually changing how we get work done. So in this explainer, we're going to demystify how AI is moving from the headlines right into your daily workflow.
Okay, let's just dive right in with this really powerful quote from Google. They're not talking about AI as just another app or some cool new feature. No, they see it as the next fundamental platform shift, on the exact same level as the internet and the smartphone. Think about that.
And this timeline, it really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? Over the last 25 years or so, we've had these massive waves of technology. First, the internet and the cloud changed where and how we access information. Then mobile came along and put all that power right into our pockets. And now, generative AI is looking like it's going to be the third great chapter, totally changing how we create and interact with information itself.
So that's the big picture. But how do we make this practical? How do we actually start thinking about using AI every single day? Well, we need a simple framework.
To get practical, let's borrow a super simple framework from the entrepreneur Ali Abdaal. He says that pretty much all knowledge work can be broken down into just 3 stages. First, you've got your input. That could be an idea, some data, a voice memo. Then you process it. You analyze it, you write about it, you design something. And finally, you create an output, a report, a slide deck, maybe a piece of code. This simple structure is the perfect lens for seeing exactly where AI can jump in and help. So the big idea here is that AI can plug into every single part of that workflow. And today, we're seeing 2 main approaches for doing this emerge. Let's break them both down, starting with the one you're probably going to run into first.
This is the integrated model. I want you to think of it like an AI assistant that lives right inside the software you already use every day, your email, your documents, your spreadsheets. And the best example of this right now is Google's Gemini.
So to really see this in action, Google showed a scenario with a new employee on their first day. Instead of spending hours trying to figure everything out, they use Gemini to get productive instantly. They get an email from their boss, and with one simple prompt, boom, Gemini drafts a professional reply, complete with a 3-week project plan. It can even look at a picture of a product, identify it, and then generate a full-blown target audience profile for it.
And this is where it gets really powerful. This assistant isn't just creating new stuff, it can actually look across all your existing files. So for example, it can summarize 3 totally different business plans sitting in your Google Drive, pull out the common themes, and organize everything into a nice, neat table. Or it can take your messy, unstructured meeting notes and instantly reformat them into your company's standard template. This is all about automating that tedious, soul-crushing work of finding, copying, and pasting information.
But what if you don't want to be locked into just one company's ecosystem? Well, that brings us to the second model, the custom workflow. This is the approach that power users and entrepreneurs love, because they get to pick and choose the absolute best tool for each specific job. So here's how Ali Abdaal maps his personal toolkit back to that input, process, output framework we talked about. For input, he just uses a simple voice memo app to capture ideas whenever, wherever they strike. For the processing stage, he pipes those raw ideas into a powerful AI model like Claude, which acts as his central brain for brainstorming and refining everything. And finally, for the output, he sends that polished content to specialized apps, Notion for organizing it all, or Gamma for whipping up presentations. It's like he's built a custom high-performance engine just for his own work.
Now this approach, it requires a totally different mindset. You're not just barking commands at the AI. You're treating it like a thought partner, a creative collaborator you can bounce ideas off of, brainstorm with, and go back and forth with in a real dialogue.
So what does working with a thought partner actually look like? Well, for a single piece of content, Ali Abdaal asked his AI to generate 50, that's 50, different one-line hooks for social media. I mean, that's brainstorming at a scale that would be completely exhausting to do by yourself. The goal isn't to find one perfect answer, it's to generate a massive pool of possibilities to pick from. But here's the reality check. Out of those 50 ideas, he only ended up liking about 11 of them. That's a hit rate of just over 20%. And this is a mistake a lot of people make. They expect the AI to be perfect. But the real goal here isn't perfection. It's about using the AI to sift through 100 pebbles to find a few diamonds. Your job as the human is to bring the taste and the curation. Okay, so let's put these 2 models side by side. The integrated assistant, it's seamless, it's easy to start with because it's already in the apps you know. The downside? You're kind of locked into one company's world.
On the other hand, the custom workflow is incredibly powerful and flexible, letting you use the best tools out there. But it's more complex, and you have to be the one to stitch it all together. See, neither one is better. They're just different paths to getting more done.
All right, now that we've seen how we can use AI, let's zoom back out and talk about the real impact this is all having on the workplace. Because, let's be honest, alongside all the excitement, there's also a whole lot of anxiety.
Knowledge workers, especially people in roles like sales, they are right on the front lines of this massive change. And when you dig into the data from HubSpot, you see this incredible tension playing out in real time, this push and pull between hope and fear.
So let's start with the fear. A clear majority, we're talking 59% of sales professionals, are genuinely worried that AI is going to replace their jobs in the near future. And that's a real, totally valid concern that we just can't ignore.
But, and this is a huge but, here's the other side of that coin. Those exact same professionals who are worried about their jobs, they are already using AI to save between 1 and 5 hours every single week just by automating manual tasks. So the fear is about the future, but the benefit is happening right now.
And when we look at what people are actually using AI for, a really clear pattern emerges. The number one use isn't replacing deep strategic thinking. It's automating tedious, manual processes. After that, it's about digging deeper into data for better analysis and customer insights. These are tasks that boost human skills, not replace them. So ultimately, the story that's unfolding here isn't really one of replacement. It's a story of partnership. A huge 78% of people feel that AI helps them spend more time on the most critical parts of their job, the parts they probably enjoy the most. And just like we saw with the integrated model, 87% of adoption is happening simply because AI is being built right into the tools people already know and use every day. Which brings us to the final and I think most essential question for every single one of us. The debate is shifting. It's really not about if AI is going to impact your work anymore. The real question is personal. How are you going to adapt? How are you going to integrate these tools into the way you work?
And that leads us right to this final thought, which just perfectly captures this exact moment. The threat isn't the technology itself. The real threat is being left behind by people who learn how to use it. It's not about being replaced by a robot. It's about being outcompeted by a person who has partnered with one. The only question left is, how will you adapt?